Hello and welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. We have begun a study of the Catechism on prayer, and we begin this study with introductory remarks taken from a 6-part course on prayer entitled A Surge in Prayer, written by Mr. Ken Vaughn, a secular Carmelite in Frederick, Maryland. And today what we're going to ask ourselves is, what exactly is in the Catechism? And who exactly is the person who wrote the 4th part of the Catechism on prayer? What we've learned so far is the need to go to the Catechism for teaching, guidance, and exhortation because we can be sure of its teachings. But what exactly is in this Catechism? Well, the Catechism is not loaded down with theological propositions. It's fundamentally composed of 2 sources, Scriptures and the sayings of the saints. There's no theology here. Belief trumps theology every time. Belief comes first, and the explanation follows later. We can be sure of its teachings and then of its teachings on prayer. So what then does the Catechism tell us about prayer? But first, let's consider another aspect. Let's ask ourselves, who wrote this section on prayer? Let's discover its author. Something is very clear. When you go through the Catechism and you get into the first 3 sections, you notice that there is a style. Maybe you'd say a method. But when you enter the part of the Catechism on prayer, you note that it is totally different from the other 3 parts. The writings and the expressions are different. The feel is different. It's not the topic at all. It's the way it was written, the way the topics were addressed. Cardinal Ratzinger, Pope Benedict, who was leader in the Catechism project, said that initially there was just going to be 3 pillars. There wasn't going to be a book on prayer. But when they realized the need, they didn't know where to go to get this book written. They ended up going to Lebanon, to a Maronite priest, a Catholic priest in Lebanon, and his name was Jean Corbin, a Frenchman. And this is how Cardinal Ratzinger described the situation. Having resolved to add a distinct 4th part on prayer to the Catechism, we looked for a representative from the East. Since it was not possible to secure a bishop as author, we settled upon Jean Corbin. He wrote the beautiful concluding text on prayer in beleaguered Beirut. He was frequently in the middle of dramatic situations. He often had to take shelter in his basement to continue working during the bombardments. If you just stop for a minute, that's an incredible image. Here is a holy, devoted priest in Beirut with bombs falling all around him in his basement, composing this 4th part of our Catechism. So now, let's turn to the Catechism itself and discover together exactly what the Catechism has to tell us about prayer. Amen. Thank you so much for following along, and blessings to you.